Hello everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. I'd like to share one of my favorite recipes with you, ground beef lasagna. Now this is a quick and easy recipe to make. It's loaded with lots of cheese and 3 layers of pasta. And I like to serve it with a little bit of garlic bread on the side. So alright, let's get started. Take a large frying pan and melt a tablespoon of butter. Add about a half a cup of chopped green peppers. Then also add a half a cup of onion. Then sprinkle that with some ground parsley. You'll probably end up with about 2 teaspoons in there. Then saute that together and stir it until it's all well cooked. Then take and dump that into a small bowl and set it aside for when you need it later. Then take a large pot and add some water, get it boiling and add a little salt in it. Then add 9 lasagna noodles to this and let it boil for about 10 minutes or until it's tender. Then add about a teaspoon of olive oil to your water so that the pasta doesn't stick together. You probably noted that the lasagna noodles are too big for the pot when you first put it in, but they start to cook and then they shrink down inside and it works fine. And it's a good idea to stir it a couple of times during the cooking process. Now once the lasagna noodles are cooked, you just drain off the extra water and set that aside until you're ready to use them. Then take your frying pan that you sauteed your vegetables in and fry about a pound of hamburger. And then I'm using a couple of forks to break apart the hamburger into smaller pieces. Then preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Sprinkle some salt and pepper into the hamburger while it's cooking. And finish frying the hamburger until it's nicely browned. And add your sauteed vegetables to the hamburger. Just turn your heat off and let it simmer for a little while you grease your pan. And this pan is about an 8 by 11. Take a jar of sweet basil marinara and pour it in the bottom like this. Take your spoon and spread it out like this, and then take the rest of the marinara and pour it inside the meat in your frying pan. And then rinse your jar with about 1/4 cup of water and pour that in the meat mixture as well. Then I take a spoon and stir it until it's well combined and let it simmer for about 2 or 3 minutes on the stove and then remove it from the heat. Then start with the lasagna noodles by placing them side by side in the bottom of the dish about 3 across. Now I let these ones go up the ends a little bit. I don't trim the bottom ones because it holds the lasagna together better. Then pour about half of your meat mixture on top of those noodles and use your large spoon to spread that out evenly. Then you take some cottage cheese, about a full tub, which is about 2 cups worth, and pour that on top. And this adds such a nice flavor that even those that don't like cottage cheese usually like it in this. Spread it out evenly over the meat like this. Then add another layer of lasagna noodles. These ones I trimmed to fit. And again, it'll be 3 across. Then next I add the rest of the meat mixture. And once again, use your spoon to spread that out evenly. Now then, I use double cheddar cheese to put on top of that. It does hold the lasagna together well and adds a little extra flavor in this layer. Now I just sprinkle it on top, so the exact amounts I'm not sure, but about 1 cup. Then I take and add another layer of the lasagna noodles, again 3 across and cut to fit. And that's what makes this lasagna so nice too, is because there's lots of noodles in it. But you don't want the noodles sticking out on top or exposed because they will dry out and get kind of crispy. Now lasagna is very much about the cheese as well, so we're going to top it off with cheese, and lots of it. Now I'm using the double cheddar cheese to start, and then I'm going to top it off with mozzarella on top of that. And you can use fresh cheese and shred it yourself, or of course just take it straight from the package. And the amounts you use is up to you. I'm loading this down pretty heavy with cheese. Now as you can see, the pan is pretty full. So if you're worried about it boiling over or bubbling over, put a little bit of tin foil underneath it when you put it in the oven. But for this size of pan, it worked out fine, and I didn't have to do that. I'll place it in a 350 degree oven for about 40 minutes or so. Now I like my cheese well melted on top and grilled till it's a little bit bubbly and brown. So I take it and place it back in the oven under broil for just a couple more minutes, and with the rack up on one of the higher positions. Watch it closely just till it's lightly browned. Now you can serve it fresh out of the oven like this while it's nice and hot, or you can keep it in the fridge and serve it the next day when the flavor is soaked in even more. And this also freezes really well. Every layer is packed full of flavor. You can also melt a little bit more cheese on top before serving it and serve it with some garlic bread. Now I really enjoy this recipe for lasagna, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I do. And thanks for watching today's episode.